Go.
Hi, I'm Andy Bopples. I'm here with the Angels at Bat, and we have Coach Kelly with us today. Coach Kelly was a high school, college pitcher here in Wisconsin. He's also been a high school coach, so he's going to share some information with some drills related to pitching.
All right, so the first thing you want to be concerned about when you're talking about throwing and pitching specifically is starting with a grip. Larger gentleman like Nathan here is going to use a two-seam or a two-finger, four-seam grip. Younger kids, smaller hands, you want to slide up a third finger. Again, controlling the baseball is important. If it's slipping out of their hand or they can't control it, it's going to be tough to be successful. So 2 fingers for the larger boys, and a third finger if they got them smaller or they're smaller hands. But we want to get them to the point where they're throwing those 2 fingers, and then we're looking at 4 seams. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a 4-seam fastball grip. Good for any type of throwing. That's the grip we would like to see them use. Okay? All right. Arm path. When we're talking about throwing, pitching, it starts with arm path. And many years I've coached, we get kids at the high school level, older kids that come in and really struggle with some of that arm path, those techniques. They haven't learned them over the course of, their youth. They get to me as a high school student, and at that point, it's actually pretty late. So we try to get them at a young age to develop this arm path, and if they can do that, they're going to be much more successful when they get on the mound and start throwing to hitters. So we're talking about arm path. He gets the ball in the glove, and then when he leads out of his glove, I always think lead with the pinky. So pinky's going to go down, out, in. We're going to get to this point. Notice his fingers are on top of the baseball. All right? Now he's going to hold some tension. See how strong that is? That's exactly what we're looking for. If his fingers are here, I can pull his arm down pretty easy. This is strong. This is weak. This is right. This is wrong. All right? So to start again, leading out of the glove, down with the pinky, out and up. Notice his arm is in a shape of an L. His elbow is above his shoulder, which is where we want it. If we don't want it low, that's going to cause arm problems, especially on the elbow here. So arm up, elbow up, fingers on top of the baseball, and a nice straight line. All right, so again, down, out, and up. He's going to do it a couple without. Now, what arm? We're talking about arm speed. I want to throw the ball, good and hard. So faster his arm can get out and get to that spot, the better. Great. Think of hitting the giant up here on the chin, or bam, under the chin. Good way to do that. All right, and you can always stand behind, turn sideways here, Woods. All right, and now he's just gonna sit. I'm just standing behind him, watching his technique. Now, a drill we use to reinforce this is the wall drill. So we'll find a nice flat wall, and he's gonna put his heels to the wall, and all he's going to do here is break his hands, and he's going to get to the L. The reason we do this drill is this prevents him from going behind his head this way. We want to be straight, a little bit of a recoil, but not so much where if he were staying away from the wall, he would be way behind his head. The ball's behind his head, it's hard to get back around to throw a strike. So the wall drill reinforces. And so we're working on arm path. We're also working that he is in a nice straight line. Okay, nice and quick, like the nice and quick. Booked. Arm. Okay. Drills that we use to support our arm path and the mechanics that we're looking at is the knee drill. What it does is it takes the lower body out of the mechanics, and we can really focus on the upper body, specifically that arm path. So this is the knee drill. So Carson's down on one knee. He's got his left foot forward as if he were pitching, and he's going to start with the glove and the ball like he normally would. So nice and tall, probably right under your chin. You always want the hands to be a little bit higher. What that does is that allows more time for the arm path to get to where it needs to be. We start low with our hands. We don't have as much time or space to get to that point. So Carson's going to start with the ball. He's going to just break his hands and shot. Okay? Quick, though, right? So we're trying to be fast. Quick. Good. And so if I'm coaching, okay, I'm going around and I'm kind of checking each one of these kids out. We don't need to even throw a baseball yet. What I'm looking for is, are they starting right? are they getting to this L position? So let's show them a couple more. Break. Break. Okay? So at this point, we're going to follow through and he's going to throw the pitch. Okay? Now, I'm not sure what Carson uses for a technique for his front side. He takes his elbow. Okay? Some people will put glove to glove, right? So Carson might put his glove to the catcher's glove and then tuck the front side. Some people tuck or just go elbow to glove and then tuck the front side. So again, remember we had the giant back here. We want to hit the giant on the chin. It's the opposite here. We're looking to hit someone on the top of the head with the elbow as we tuck and follow through. All right, so break, giant, follow through, hit the small person on the chin or on the top of the head with the elbow. So break, and then pitch. And you can see his elbow here. It's tucked, it's nice, it's in. What we don't want is this to kind of fly open. All right, what that does is that'll take Carson off of the mound. It'll get him off balance, and he's going to be less successful throwing strikes. All right, so let's throw it again. So start move, he's going to break, and then as he feints. All right. Couple more. And Carson's doing something that I didn't talk about, but it's pretty obvious, right? His eyes are on the target, on the clock, and that's exactly where it should be. Couple more. Great. Nice, good follow through. Eyes don't need the target. His front side. This is that way it needs to be. Okay? Come on. You get into the upper levels of baseball, the pitchers are going to want to throw different types of pitches. So we've already talked about the four-seam fastball, and I would say if this is the one pitch that all of your pitchers should at least start with. Four-seam fastball is the straightest pitch. It has the most seams. It's the one that you're probably going to throw the hardest. So four-seam fastball is where I would start. After that, you can switch it to a two-seam fastball. This is going to provide a little bit more tail, a little bit more run maybe to the other side of the plate. But it's obviously going to be a little bit more harder to control because it's going to move a little. And you can put different pressure on one finger or the other. You can move your fingers off the seam a little bit. This comes from, or learning how to throw a two-seam fastball comes from practice. You're just warming up with your friends. Start playing, throwing two-seam fastballs and seeing if you can get them to move a certain way. It's just not something that you're going to pick up one day and all of a sudden get this amazing two-seam fastball. It takes practice. Does the pressure, is it better on this finger or this finger? Should I move my finger off of the seam? Should I move the bottom, my thumb? Right? Sometimes you can move your thumb around. So again, practicing those things when, you're just warming up, that's a great time to learn. All right? So we have four-seam fastball. We have the two-seam fastball. Now we're going to just go to a basic changeup. We'll get to curveballs here in a second. So, no, let's go with the pitchfork. So this is the easiest one. Back to the first grip conversation that we had. If you have a smaller hand, smaller kids, they're going to put that third finger on. For high school kids, they're going to put that third finger on to slow the baseball down, right? They're going to throw a certain speed with two fingers on. When they put that third finger on, what that does is that creates drag. It slows the baseball coming out of your hand, and it works like a changeup. So if you throw at a certain speed with two fingers, you're going to throw maybe 5 or 10 miles an hour less with three fingers. This is the easiest changeup to throw. It's just your fastball grip, and you add a third finger. Okay, now a little bit more complex changeup would be a circle change. So he has his circle here. Fingers are still on the ball here, and this one kind of comes out the side of your hand. What that does is that produces kind of a sideward spin, and that gets the changeup to drop. The key with the changeup in terms of throwing it is it should never be a called strike. If it lands in the zone, that's not a very good changeup. What you want this changeup to do is to start off in the zone, but you want it to end up out of the zone. So if you think of a hitter's strike zone as knees and up, you want it to start at the knee and then maybe end up down at the shin or even low. You're trying to get them to ground out. You're trying to get them to swing over the top of it. Change-ups, especially if the hitter knows it's coming, and if it's right in the middle of the strike zone, those get hit pretty hard. So we're trying to fool the hitter, but don't leave it in the zone because, again, if it's a mistake or the hitter kind of guess is right, they're going to have a good pitch to hit. So should not be a called strike. That's my opinion. All right, so you throwing headers? Yep. So curveball. So we have seams, right? So the side seams, you're going to put your finger, middle finger, and your thumb on those seams. All right, and the next couple fingers, they just rest, because these are the two fingers that do the work. This finger is going to come to rest here. This finger is going to come to rest here. Now the mechanics with a curveball is fastball, 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 right till the end, and that's when we turn it over and make it a curveball. If I'm hitting and he starts showing me curveball right here, he's giving me an advantage. I can see that hitting. If I see fastball coming at me, and then right at the end, it's curveball, that's a lot harder for me as a hitter to detect. I really have to pick up the spin as it comes out of his mouth. But if he's back here, he's already shown me that it's curveball here, and this is fastball, I'm a hitter, I can pick that up, and so can the whole dugout. All right, so fastball, 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 right to the very end of release, and then we turn it over for a curveball. All right, now, curveball is what we call a 12-6, or whatever, 12-6 spin. So as this comes out of his hand, it's spinning with these seams, 12-6. And the curve is more top to bottom. All right? Here. It's not elbow, it's wrist. Right here, and then thumb. All right? Sliders, maybe same grip. He's got a little bit of different grip. But now you're thinking about cutting the side of the baseball. You're not using your elbow, you're coming down and just cut. Okay? And what you'll see when you throw a curveball 12-6, you'll see tumbling seams at you like this. A slider or a cut fastball will see a red dot. And that's what he was showing it. So you're cutting the ball on the side, and as that comes out, you're going to see a dot caught. That's all. It's more of a side curve. It's not a big tumbler. A little more accurate. Doesn't have the big, huge break. But it is a little bit more dangerous in terms of arm injuries. Kids sometimes, they'll do this. Well, that goes right to your elbow. As opposed to cutting the ball with your wrist, your fingers, they can get it to work, but they use their elbow to grip. So you have to really pay attention to, especially young kids just starting to throw breaking pitches, that they're throwing it properly and they're not causing stress to their arm, specifically their elbow. So start slow, pay attention to what they're doing, their mechanics, and those are things that you're going to have to revisit periodically to make sure it's good. So we have fastball, 4-seam fastball. We have 2-seam fastball. We'll have a pitchfork change or a 3-finger change, and then we have the circle change, and then we have the curveball, and then we have the slider. And I would say anything beyond that is overkill, to be honest with you. Again, it's about throwing strikes. Kids that tell you they have 5 pitches, I laugh. So make sure that what they have, they can throw strikes with, and if that leads to more things, that's great. But if you have 5 pitches but you can't throw any of them for strikes, then you really have to. All right? Carson is a high school pitcher, so there's going to be times where he's pitching out of the windup, and there's going to be times when he's pitching out of the stretch at the runner on base. All right, the mound, right, the pitching rubber is always going to be something that a pitcher has to deal with. So they have to find comfort in foot placement and in the windup and the stretch. If they're out of comfort, they're going to have trouble throwing strikes. So we're on the gym floor. We don't have any issues in terms of holes or mounts that aren't in great shape to work with. So he's going to have it pretty easy. So he's going to start. We'll use this line as the pitching rubber. So Carson's going to start with, we'll see what he does. Okay, so Carson starts with the ball in the glove, and that's a good thing, right? So to get that side, he's going to come up. Notice hands nice and tall. Want him up near his chin. Again, if you start low, it doesn't allow as much arm pad time to get to the out. All right, so I always like hands up a little bit higher. Gives you a little bit more of arm pad space to get to the out. So he's starting right here. He's going to take a small step, and all that does is allows him to change his pivot foot, changes his weight. Now he gets his foot where it needs to be alongside the pitching rubber, and now he's going to lift his knee up And we're just gonna hold that right there, okay? So notice he's lifting up. He didn't kick his foot up into the air. You wanna think more of a knee lift than a leg kick, because that keeps his foot under the knee, and that's what we want. If his foot were up here, he's gonna have less balance. So knee under, tight and tucked, and he's right in the perfect spot. Well, we call this position, the balance position. But really, if we were to try to stop a pitcher in that position, they would fall forward most likely. It's called the balance position, but we're not looking for the pitcher to come to complete balance. We just want them to come, be nice and compact, and then when they go to the plate, that's the firecracker going there. All right, so Carson gets to this spot. Yep, stay there. Again, foot under the knee, hands high. He's right where he needs to be. And at some point, his eyes are going to pick up the glove. All right, some guys will look down and then pick it up. Some guys will have their eyes on the glove the whole time. You just want to make sure that the eyes at some point are picking up the glove early enough so that you can throw strikes. All right, so let's start from the beginning. So he's, again, nice and compact. He's relaxed. Something that he is comfortable doing. Okay, go ahead. Step. Yep, and he's to this point. Now, if he starts to go to the plate, before he goes this way in your mind, break your hands. Right, so I'm here. Before I start going this way, I should break. All right? So let's have him come here, break his hand, and then stop at the landing position. I'm going to talk to a couple points. Okay, so he's break. Okay, his arms should be up here. He likes to uses more of a glove technique for the front side, but then he tucks it in after. All right, so everybody's going to be a little bit different to get back to that comfort level. The only thing we don't want to see is this front side to fly over. So as long as he's close, technically he's in a good spot. All right, notice he landed down here at the ground. His foot should be either at 12 or for a right-handed hitter should be kind of facing 1 o'clock. You think of it that way. If it was lefty, he'd be at 12 or 11. So he's closed a little bit, but not too. If you were to use a line, come on over to this line on the right. And he steps, go ahead and just step it out. He should be somewhere near that line, right? So if he's way too open, he'd be to this side of the line. If he was way too close, he would keep to this side of the line. So somewhere within foot's length of that line is where he wants to be. That keeps him straight towards the plate. He's going to throw harder that way. He's going to land in a better fielding position if he does that. If he's always falling off the mound, he's taking himself out of field in his own spot. All right? So back to the beginning. Couple things. Go ahead. I'll talk as he gets in. Right. The bottom, as you noticed, he landed on a stiff front leg, and that's exactly right. His leg would come up, kind of comes down, and it kind of glides across the mound and then lands gently. All right? Your leg drive, your rear leg drive, comes at a conservative amount. If you push too hard all the time, you're going to start falling off the mound and your mechanics are going to break down. So yes, we want some rear leg drive, but we want it within a reason so that we're finishing, and ultimately pitching is about throwing strikes. It's not how hard you throw. If you can't throw strikes, you're going to be in the dugout next to the coach, right? So throw strikes, get some leg drive, land on a nice firm front leg. All right, so he's here, he's landed, he's ready to pitch, eyes are on the catcher. Okay? Let's go from the guy. Just touch. Good. Notice how he's going forward. He's ready to pitch. Yes, but McKent. All right, so let's back up a little bit. We're going to back up to this side. The second drill, actually the third drill, but the second throwing drill is called inside-outside drill. So it's from 40 feet for Carson, who's a high school player. Younger kids can certainly shorten that distance up to 30 feet, 20 feet. If you cannot throw strikes from 40 feet off of a flat surface to no hitter, it's going to be tough for you to go out of the mound and throw strikes off a mound to a real hitter. So you have to be able to throw strikes here, and that will transfer over hopefully to game time. All right, so inside-outside drill. So 40 feet away, the first 15 pitches are going to be inside, just to a right-handed hitter. So he's got to throw 15 pitches. 9 of those are going to be out of the windup. 6 of those will be out in the stretch. All right? Carson's a varsity pitcher, so I'm guessing he's got a fastball, he has a curveball, and I'm guessing he has some sort of play up. So the pattern would be fastball, fastball, curveball, fastball, fastball, changeup, fastball, fastball, curveball, and then he would switch to the stretch or follow that same sequence. So let's just demonstrate the glitches. So again, the key here is to throw strikes. So again, Carson's on flat ground, he's throwing to a catcher, and the goal, of course, is to throw strikes. And if you're counting strikes, and you should be, out of those 15 pitches per inning, you should be at 10 or more strikes. All right, that's 66%, 2/3, and that's what we want to minimum. All right, so let's just say that was his last pitch. So then at that point, he would switch to the stretch. All right, so same kind of idea. He's going to take a sign. We know the signs. He's going to come set. And again, hands high, ball and glove. He's comfortable. He's balanced. He's going to lift and go. Right. There we go. Finishing nice and balanced. Notice that Carson is not falling away. He's balanced. If somebody were to hit a ground ball right back at him, he would field it. He's in a good spot to do that. So again, we talk about rear leg drive, but we don't want it so powerful that it takes us away from good mechanics. Again, you got to throw strikes to the punch. Okay?
All right, go ahead.
There's a couple things that you just kind of brings this all together, and one is timing with the landing. So he's going to go through his mechanics, and I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about that timing. Sometimes the bad timing is the problem. It's not the mechanics, but the timing is mixed up, and that causes the ball to, usually it causes the pitch to be high. All right, so Carson's going to go through his mechanics here, and he's going to just stop at the landing. All right, so again, we like Carson's arm to be up a little taller. Elbow should be above your shoulder, and your wrist should be on top of your elbow. The problem is if he lands and he's here, puts a lot of stress on the elbows, he comes around to pitch, okay? And there's different arm angles, and I'm not saying that one is, entirely right, but if you're thinking about injuries and how injuries occur, especially in a non, it's the word I'm looking for. It's an unnatural movement playing a baseball, all right? And so it causes injuries, and if you don't throw right, you're going to have injuries sooner than later. And so we always want this to be in this position where that elbow is above the shoulder. That protects the elbow, all right? So what it comes back to is timing. So when Carson gets to the balance position here, it's almost that signal that he needs to break his hands. High knee comes up, and it almost breaks your hands in one motion. What that does is that gives, again, like gives that arm another half second in the arm pad to get to the L, and it should be high. All right, so let's see if he can do it. A little quicker break. High knee, as it comes up at the highest point of your balance position, it's very carefully, quick hands. That was a little out of, see, I think she was wrong. Next. Okay. Yeah, good. So he's really ramping up the throw, but he's in a good spot there, okay? But as that knee, as that knee comes up, we break only way. All right, and so sometimes if there is a pitcher that is rushing, typically that the pitch is going to be hot when it's a timing each to say. Well, tell your pitcher this. I talk to him about mechanics. Just tell him to slow down a little bit. Just make sure you break your hands before you get into the plates. That and it's always going to bring the pitch down where it needs to be. But if it's up and out of the zone consistently, they're probably just they're going this way before they break their hands. So if my hands are together and I land, I just don't have enough time to get my arm to the out. So my knee comes up, break, and then I land. But everything should follow through at that time. All right, so again, timing sometimes is the key to keeping the pitch low in the zone.